Hello and welcome to MS TechHub. This is the continuation of React series. In this video, we are going to discuss about the default props. The default props is a feature that allows you to define the default values for the properties of a React component. These default values are used if the corresponding props is not provided by the parent component. Let us see in action. Let's flip to Visual Studio. And this is the same project we have been working so far. So let me create new component called default component. Default props component. .js. Let me provide the implementation. Let me import React first. Create a functional component called default component. Default props component. It is the function component. Let me export it. Let me export it first. Export default props component, and it is returning an h1 element with the property props dot name props dot name. Let me pass the props. Okay, the child component is ready, and we have to provide the default value. So how we can provide the value? The value we can provide with the name of class called default props is equal to, and our property name, suppose name we are passing Henry as a default name. And now we can create the parent component for the default values. Default props parent component.js, and quickly import the React first. Import React and create the functional component for the default parent. Default props parent component, and it is the functional component. Let me export it. As default parent component, and this component is returning the default props child component, which is default props component. This component is having a property with the name, so we are providing Jack over here as a name, and in the child component we are having the property print directly. So let me include hello word hard coded there. And let me quickly call the parent component from the app.js main component, the root component. Default parent component. And let me remove the earlier namespace what we are having. And the import statement has been added for the parent default parent component. Let us quickly see in the browser. And Jack is coming. So it is saying hello Jack, and Jack is coming from the props we are passing from the parent component as a Jack. So if we remove this Jack name, and once we see in the browser, so it is returning Henry, and which is coming from the child component we have defined. So it's how we can define even multiple properties if we are happy, like last name. We can define any of the property what we have to define as a default property. If the parent component doesn't provide the value, then default property will be used by the child component. That's it in this video. Thanks for watching.